Hello again, Leo. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. Sorry about the background here. I'm in transit at the moment, so things are a little topsy-turvy. I'm trying to sell my mother's property here and just trying to sneak in the July forecast for you. And I'd like to start by talking about the 3 planets in your 12th house this month. This is pretty significant, including the Sun, which is your ruling planet. Generally, the confidence that we see in your sign is fairly consistent when we see your ruling planet, Mercury and Venus, together in the 12th house. And on the 5th, the fact that the moon, a new moon, will also be in this low-key area of the zodiac, of the Leo horoscope. It's quite likely you'll feel a bit of a downward trend, a little bit of a clipping of the wings here, if I could use that analogy. You may be feeling a little less confident than normal, and that's not as dangerous as thinking that there's something wrong with you for not feeling so self-confident. And that's the problem, because you've got to understand that the planets reflect these changing cycles, the ebb and the flow. It's not just the moon that has those cycles, but our ruling planet, such as the Sun, has its own cycle. And we see that next month, this could be the calm before the storm. Things are in a bit of a lull. And when the Sun returns to the sign of Leo, you will in fact see a pretty significant lift in your energies, and that takes place obviously around the 20th, 21st, when the Sun enters the new cycle. So what I'm saying to you is, Leo, you need to be a little bit patient and use this time as a means of self-analysis. If you're constantly out there giving and pushing forward with everything, you're not exactly going to be receptive to the internal process that's required to move into new levels of understanding, to develop new ideas. All of that stuff happens internally. So generally, you're a fairly out there person, but at this time of the year, we see a more inward style of relating, a more laid-back style, and that's good too. Even if you are dealing with people, pulling back gives you the chance to listen and to study between the lines of what people are saying. That gives you the edge in terms of any of your personal and professional relationships. The month starts with the moon in the 12th house, the ruler of the 12th house in the 10th house of career. So that's also showing a positive benefit by not taking the lead, believe it or not. Stepping back, let others take the lead for the time being. And in that way, I guess it's like inventions that are first to market. Often they're not the ones that succeed. First to market, they may have problems, and then those that are standing on the sidelines get to see where those flaws or those errors are, and they get to capitalize by reinventing that product or service without the flaws. So what I'm saying to you is the same sort of thing. This month you have the opportunity to achieve things, but in an unusual roundabout sort of way. Stepping back, studying where people are making their faux pas, learning from those mistakes, and then applying that. And once the Sun returns, throughout the end of July and August, making your mark and capitalizing on other people's mistakes. That moon is also in a hard aspect to Mars, which is in your 4th house. That's remained there, and I've talked about that the last couple of months. Mars has been in a retrograde motion, which, in a sense strengthens it. It's a good planet on one level, but it still has its inherent impulse and angst. So there are some problems for some of you born under Leo in terms of your personal relationships, especially with mother, the matriarchal side of the family, in terms of, for example, if you're running businesses associated with rentals, property, real estate, that sort of thing. That is definitely an area where, look, you're going to gain out of that, but it's not without its problems. And The reactive part of that equation is what I'm cautioning you about. The new moon I've talked about brings with it some spiritual insights as well, because the 12th house of your horoscope is about quiet, stillness, yoga, meditation, self-analysis. It's very, very revealing, and it shows that you can gain from that as well. And that this all sounds very odd, because I have to decline these calls that are coming in. I don't want to disturb this reading. Because we're accustomed to believing that doing is the way we achieve things, when in fact, the spiritual path or yoga talks about being as a more efficient way to achieve things. I think ideally we find a balance between being and doing, and that, again, I keep coming back to that this month, seems to be the main lesson with all of those planets there. Now that could hit you hard, especially with Saturn transiting still in that 5th house, which is your creative self, your inner child, which is precisely why I'm saying that you need that time to withdraw and collect your energies to see exactly what you want to do and how you feel best doing it in this next phase of your life. Saturn is not easily going to help you in that respect. As far as your creativity and work is concerned, on the 20th, Venus will make a lovely triangular aspect to Saturn in that 5th house. Venus is ruling your professional life, and that's on the same day that we see a full moon in your 6th house, very near to the planet Pluto, which is going to revolutionize some of your work practices. It may even, believe it or not, shake things up in that workplace environment, take people away. There could be new employees coming, old ones going, and some of these events could happen rather suddenly. As a result, too, that we see Uranus on the 30th going into its retrograde motion, and that's going to bring with it some very, very interesting changes indeed. Uranus having that square aspect to the 6th house of your work, and that may also have some impact upon your health, upon some of your relatives, and indeed if you're a manager or running a business, on the health and otherwise of some of your employees. Don't forget to check out the site astrology.com.au. We've got more detailed analysis of day-by-day transits, the daily readings that we have there, and you can get this all in context with your yearly reading. I hope you'll join me here next month, same time, same station. Till then, good luck, take care, bye-bye.